White heavy check mark. My parents will never struggle again. Coco Gauff opens up after life-changing job offer. Paris had never looked more radiant. The city of lights glimmer beneath a soft spring sun, and the streets outside Roland Garros hum with the energy of fans celebrating the newly crowned champion. Coco Gauff, holding her French Open trophy with a mixture of pride and exhaustion, could feel the weight of the moment settle over her. This was more than a victory. This was a culmination of years of sacrifice, struggle, and relentless determination. Yet, even as cameras flashed and reporters shouted questions, Coco's mind was somewhere else entirely. Her thoughts were with her parents, Corey and Candy, whose unwavering support had built the foundation for her success. She thought about the early mornings, the long drives to practice, the nights they spent worrying over finances, and the countless sacrifices they made so she could pursue her dream. And just as the sun rose higher in the Parisian sky, Coco's life, her family's, would change forever. A call that changed everything. It started as a phone call. Coco was speaking with her agent, discussing press interviews and media commitments. When he handed her the phone, "Coco," he said, "this is important. Take it." On the other end was an Italian billionaire, Giovanni Moretti, a man whose name was whispered in the corridors of global business circles, and whose love for tennis was as profound as his fortune. Known for supporting young athletes and for his philanthropic ventures, Moretti had been following Coco's career for years, admiring not only her skill, but the dedication and resilience she displayed. "Miss Gauff," he began, his voice calm and kind, "congratulations on your remarkable achievement at Roland Garros. Your performance has inspired millions." Coco thanked him, politely smiling as she listened. But then came the words that would shake her to the core. "I want to offer your parents positions within my organization, supporting our international sports and youth development programs. Each position comes with a salary of $200,000 per month." For a moment, the world stopped. Coco's fingers tightened around the phone. Her throat constricted. Tears immediately filled her eyes. This was more than money. It was relief, recognition, freedom from decades of worry. I don't know what to say," Coco stammered, her voice trembling. Moretti simply replied, "Say nothing. Let this be a gift for the family who's given you everything." Coco couldn't hold back her emotions any longer. Tears streamed down her face as she sank into a chair, clutching the phone. The weight of sacrifice. To understand Coco's reaction, one must understand the journey of her family. Her parents weren't strangers to hard work. They had spent years holding multiple jobs, waiting tables, housekeeping, coaching, always making sure Coco had everything she needed to train and compete. Financial struggles were a constant, shadowing every tournament and every travel plan. Coco had grown up watching them work tirelessly, always putting her dreams before their own comfort. Every win she achieved carried the unspoken acknowledgement of their sacrifices. Every setback became a shared burden. In her own words, Coco often reflected, "My parents work harder than anyone I know. Every time I step on the court, I feel their effort and love pushing me forward." Winning Wimbledon had brought pride. Losing had brought heartbreak. But this moment, the call from Moretti, brought something entirely different: liberation, tears of gratitude. When Coco finally composed herself, she walked into the room where her parents were waiting. They had heard the commotion and feared the worst: pressure from interviews, nerves, exhaustion. Instead, they found their daughter crying tears of joy. I just got a call," Coco whispered. "You won't have to work like you have all these years. Someone wants to take care of you. You won't struggle anymore." Her mother, Candy, couldn't hold back her own tears. Corey sat in stunned silence, a rare look of vulnerability on his usually composed face. For the first time in decades, the weight they carried seemed to lift, even if only slightly. This wasn't about luxury or fame. It was about freedom, dignity, and the acknowledgement of a lifetime of selfless sacrifice. Coco's victory wasn't just hers anymore. It was theirs, too. A lesson in motivation and resilience. Coco's journey to the French Open title had been paved with challenges that tested her both physically and emotionally. Growing up, she had to juggle rigorous training schedules, schoolwork, and a life that often felt like it belonged to someone else. There were days she felt exhausted, lonely, or overwhelmed by expectations. Her parents' financial struggles were a constant reminder that every point, every serve, and every match mattered not just for her career, but for her family's well-being. That pressure, while heavy, became her fuel. I learned early that the struggles of my family weren't just obstacles. They were my motivation. Coco explained in a post-tournament interview, "When I felt like giving up, I thought about everything my parents had done for me. That kept me going, even after losses like Wimbledon. It was this resilience, combined with her raw talent, that propelled her to victory at Roland Garros, and ultimately led to a life-changing opportunity for her family." The global reaction. News of the Italian billionaire's offer spread quickly. Fans flooded social media with praise for both Coco and her parents. Journalists highlighted the extraordinary generosity of Moretti, while commentators marveled at the rare combination of talent, humility, and gratitude that Coco displayed. But beyond the headlines and hashtags, the story resonated deeply because it was human. It reminded the world that behind every champion, there are parents, mentors, and supporters who make unseen sacrifices. It reminded everyone that success is sweeter when shared with those who pave the way. Coco's message was simple but powerful. My parents will never struggle again. I'm grateful beyond words, and I want to dedicate every victory to them. Looking ahead, with her parents financially secure for the first time in decades, Coco feels a new sense of freedom, the invisible pressure she carried. In a press conference, Coco's father reflected, "We didn't raise Coco to earn money for us. We raised her to be strong, kind, and resilient. This opportunity, it is a blessing, but the real blessing is the person she has become." A moment that transcends tennis. Coco Gauff's tears weren't just about a trophy or a win. They were about gratitude, love, and fulfillment of a promise she had silently made to herself and her family, that she would fight not just for glory, but for the people who gave her everything. The French Open will be remembered for her athletic brilliance. The phone call from Giovanni Moretti will be remembered for its humanity. Together, they tell a story larger than tennis, a story about perseverance, family, and a profound impact of compassion. As Coco herself said, "I always dreamed of winning a Grand Slam, but nothing compares to the joy of knowing my parents will never struggle again. That is the greatest victory of all." And with that, the young champion looked toward the future, not just as a tennis star, but as a daughter, a role model, and a testament to the power of love, sacrifice, and gratitude. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.